What's going on, everyone? My name is Sherwin, and we are in the Model Y studios today, and we are on the road because I found out something. So I posted something online that I'm going to be taking a demo drive of the Rivian R1T, and they emailed me and said, hey, rather than meeting at the park, because that was the initial location of where we're supposed to meet up, because there's a place nearby. I found a place nearby that they actually do demo drives by the house, and I was like, great, this is pretty convenient. I don't have to go to like Costa Mesa, San Diego, Venice. I mean, all the Rivian dealerships, Pasadena in my area. Oh my goodness, they're far. I mean, on a good day, probably an hour and a half because we get so much traffic here. And so I found out that they were doing demo drives nearby, near the house. So I was like, okay, you know what? If I'm really serious about looking into the Rivian, I should really test drive it. And so I signed up for one. And I got an email telling me that they're changing the location, but it's still within, that area. And I Google mapped it, and there's a Rivian building there, and I'm like, wait a minute, is there a dealership there? Because it's not on the website. It's not listed on the website. So I'm just gonna go and investigate real quick and take you along with me. And I'm pretty excited because if this is a dealership that they haven't really notified people on, and it's a future like location, oh my goodness, it's like that's another like reason I should or really want a Rivian, because the two things are the charging network is number one, and guess what, today Ford, they started allowing Ford vehicles to charge on V3 superchargers without the magic dock, because certain people are getting their adapters. They received their adapters, and now some of the superchargers are allowing for Ford vehicles to charge at Tesla superchargers. Well, sooner or later, Rivian is going to follow. And then number two, there is no like dealership nearby. So if I go here, and this is an actual dealership that they just haven't like announced, oh man, this is going to make my decision a little more difficult. Like now it's kind of like walk the talk or walk the walk and talk the talk type thing, right? But yeah, so we're gonna go check it out, and yeah, and we have a demo drive coming up shortly. So, but I wanted to go just see the location real quick. Okay, so we are here on Eastvale, or in Eastvale, and even my GPS says that there's a service center here, but I don't know if it's a dealership or if I could take delivery here. But I've never known this place existed. I don't recall seeing it on the website. So I'm pretty excited and nervous, because now it's like I have less reasons why I should not get or be more serious about getting a Rivian. I mean, the biggest hurdle now is this financial reasons, but man, oh man. And there's a Canyon Red R1T. That's the color I want. Oh, we're gonna go down. We're just gonna check things out. But I do have a demo drive, as I mentioned. And this is much closer to me than all the other dealerships. So if this is really open now, and this is a service center, like that's one less concern I have. Because you always have to be ready. Any car, there's no perfect car, so I always have to look at it as, if we get a Rivian and it breaks or whatever, like I'm sure mobile service can't resolve everything. I mean, look what happened to our Plaid. Mobile service came out and they can't fix everything. So luckily there's a Tesla service center nearby, and it's accessible. So this is also pretty accessible. It's a similar distance to the Tesla service center I go to, but I think this is a little bit further away, but it is not an hour and a half away. It's closer. It's within an hour. On a good day, probably 30 minutes. But yeah, I'm just gonna walk around, maybe talk, see if I could talk to people, but I do have a demo drive scheduled, so let's go. All right, so we are here. This is the Rivian. On the map, it says it's a service center. So, and I guess they do test drives here also. Oh, and they even have one with a rack. We gotta go check that out. So I have been looking at used R1Ts, and there's a Canyon Red that I saw for like 69,000 with under 10,000 miles. It's a 2023 Adventure. And, but yeah, oh man, and there's a green one. I believe these are the launch colors. Green is only available in the launch, but it has the bed rack, I guess. But yeah, oh boy. And then R1S, R1T, one is in red. This is the color. Oh, I'm glad it's red so I can see what it looks like in person, and it's the quad motor. Oh my goodness. There we go. That looks, oh my goodness. Man. Yeah, I'm just gonna take a peek. This is probably the demo cars that they'll have when I come back. So that would be cool. Oh, there's even a white one there. Okay, we're gonna go inside. I don't know if I'm allowed to film, but yeah, we're gonna check things out here. Okay, so we walked around. I talked to a couple of people. Man, I'm excited for that demo drive. So we'll see what happens. They were talking about like maintenance intervals, because I was asking some questions already, so that way I could just focus more on the actual test drive. But I got some questions out of the way, and one of the things they mentioned is the usual tire rotations is gonna be there. So I haven't had that in a while because our Teslas have been staggered setup, so we didn't really have to worry about it. I just have to make sure that the alignment's good and the wear and tear is as good as it can be. But yeah, he was saying every 7,000 miles for the tire rotation, and also to check the brakes. And I'm like, wait a minute, man, don't these have regen braking? So why do we need to change the, I think it was like the brake fluid or something. He's like, no, it's just for like maintenance interval. And I said, okay, well, when does the car notify you? He's like, yeah, the car notifies you. And I said, okay, well, is it programmed by like the mileage? Or is the software smart enough to detect that there may be issues with wear and tear on the brakes or whatever, or like low on brake fluid or whatever? And he said that it's programmed by the mileage. And I'm like, man, are we going back in time? Like, can't the software detect these things? I'm not a mechanic or anything, but so that was like a bit of a concern, because it isn't really something with Tesla because we use regen braking a lot. But we'll see. But he's like, yeah, it's just like Tesla. And he says that a lot of the people that work here used to work for Tesla, and in particular the dealership that I usually go to. So when they found out what I own, I said, yeah, we've gone through two Model X's, and so, oh, you're gonna love the R1S. And I said, well, we're not really gonna, well, I'm not interested in the R1S at the moment. I'm really looking at the truck. He's like, wait a minute, you look familiar. So one of them said that he may have worked on our Model X before. So I don't recall him, but he may be, because he's a technician and he works you know, in the back, but he may have seen me at the front desk. But he's like, I think you look familiar. I'm like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I brought the previous Model X there a bunch of times. He's like, yeah, we work, or when he used to work at Tesla, he's like, yeah, we worked on a lot of Model X's. But yeah, so I'm even more excited. I asked him about what if I buy a used R1T from a third party, or you know, a different dealership, because they don't sell used Rivians here. I guess because it's still a new company and many people don't trade in their cars like back to Rivian to get another Rivian. People buy another Rivian along with their existing Rivian. So they don't really have any used in their inventory, but we'll see. Let's test drive first and figure out what happens. But the concern is I'm going to really enjoy it, and it's going to be very easy for me to push that button and actually go through with it. But we'll see what Abby says. I got to think of ways to convince her, or at least maybe help me in the comments below on like how to go about starting the conversation and like, hey, I bought you something. Or I don't know, give me some ideas, y'all, and see how I can present this to her. Create a proposal, a business proposal. But no, we'll see what happens. I'm pretty excited. So thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the comments below. Let me know what y'all think.